First up, we've got Lazybear versus Miniorek. And obviously, Lazybear is the number one seed actually coming into this tournament. It was seeded using Pondu's Elo sheet, plus a few adjustments based on activity. And Lazybear has been killing it recently in competitive play.
Yeah, and it's almost, you can almost say that's an understatement. And I don't know what would be above that, but Lazybear has been an absolute animal this year, and whether it's venue tournaments or whatever it may be. But Mini on the other side of this, obviously having to face up that mountain. But Mini, I don't know if really deserves a 16 seed. I think Mini here has been playing pretty well recently, their first SCL season, and so has gotten quite a bit of competitive experience just in this last couple months.
Yeah, they were near around the top of silver coming out of this SCL season, and they are participating in the Summer Cup. If I don't, yes, they are in the round of 16 for that. So they made it out of the groups, made it past the round of 32. So they're definitely not any kind of a slouch, but Lazybear is just so dominating and has been in such good form that it's hard to say that there's any other expectation that Lazybear. You would generally expect Lazybear to win this, but we've already seen some pretty huge upsets this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like the double-edged sword of, some of these tournaments where it really just comes down to one day and who's going to show up. A good player could not show up on a day and make some simple mistakes, and that's a 2-point swing in the set. So anything really can happen in these tournaments.
Yeah, as long as you're capitalizing on those mistakes, it could absolutely make an upset happen. But I think that is enough talking about the players themselves. Let's get into the draft. The other thing we need to do before the game actually starts. So we've got Miniorek picking and banning first. First selection is a Lazybear. No, wait, what? That's unusual. Whatever. The what I'm reading from is not consistent, but it's fine. And Miniorek has chosen to spy first.
Yeah.
So Lazybear.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, so Lazybear is going to ban pub any 3 of 6. I believe this is is this the SCL version of pub, or is this the +3 guest version from Summer Cup?
I'm pretty sure these are all following the SCL format wise. I think Screw wanted to keep everything pretty tight knit with that. So I believe this will be the SCL version.
All right. In that case, we've got then Miniorek banning Modern. Any 4 of 8. I'm actually not sure where that ban comes from. Maybe just Miniorek just doesn't like the venue. Lazybear hasn't really played too much of it recently, but it's certainly something. If you just don't like a venue, you just don't pick it. And so Miniorek's not going to restrict anything. By the way,
interesting. Yeah, and part of that is a restrict is the difference between a ban and a restrict is a ban is it can't be played at all during the set. A restrict, the main thing is it can't be doubled, right? You're not going to play 4 games on it, but it can be picked to be played 2 games. So sometimes when you restrict something, you give the opponent maybe a little bit more information as well.
Yeah, and Lazybear restricting Terrace any 3 of 6, and this is a restriction / ban that's very near and dear to my heart, because he started banning and restricting Terrace right after he picked Terrace into me and lost the venue for 004 last season in SCL.
It happens to the best of us.
It's still amusing to see how the knock-on effects of like one set can be. So Lazybear not a fan of that venue. And going next, though, we have Miniorek grabbing Aquarium, which for those of you who don't know, Miniorek, Lazybear is sort of the proprietor of some huge aquarium tech that honestly carried him to a lot of success in the most recent SCL season. It's very, very surprising to see Miniorek picking it into him like this, because it's just I just never do it. I play Lazybear, I ban Aquarium.
Yeah, this is for lack of better terms here, balls to the wall type of play here to go against Lazybear on a venue that he definitely probably prefers to play on. And it's not just spy side. Lazy is also really good on the sniper side of things here.
Yeah, for sure. And Lazybear are going to be doubling Ballroom, which is interesting because Lazybear actually spent the entirety of Season 5 banning Ballroom. So, this is definitely a bit of a switch around and has been favoring it more in season 6 of SCL. So it's not too surprising that like it's not a ban or anything, but I am a little bit surprised by the fact that these are doubled. And then Miniorek is indeed going to select Terrace, any 3 of 6. This is Lazybear's restrict, and it makes sense, right? You see that they don't want to play this venue, so you're like, I'm gonna make you play this venue. And of course there are mind games with that. Maybe you try to restrict a venue that you actually do want to play and try to bait your opponent into picking it. But with how Lazybear has been banning Terrace recently in SCL, I would be surprised if that was the case here.
Yeah, and just to clarify, it's getting updated right now, but some of the things were slightly on the wrong side. But by the end of this, we should have all the picks and bans in the right spot on the screen.
Yeah, for sure. Just a little bit of a technical hiccup there. No big deal. And then Lazybear is going to round out the draft by going with Tayen, any 4 of 8. And this is a bit of a Lazybear special. Most people don't actually like to go with these a little bit more unsure venues at the end of a set. Psychologically, people like having, like very consistent courtyard, 4 of 7, that kind of thing. Library, courtyard, these very, very consistent sniper favored venues where they know they can lock something down. They like having that consistency, but Lazybear just really likes Tayen, thinks that it can, perform very well on it, and is not phased by the fact that it's at the end of the set and it could be a little bit wonky.
Yeah, and definitely, I think kind of with these picks and bans and restricts and the single picks at the end, they're definitely kind of sending some messages here. And Lazy, I don't know, I think it's really going to be a match of seeing if Mini can really optimize mistakes that maybe Lazy's going to make throughout the set here.
Yeah, for sure, and it's going to take some work because Lazybear does not make many mistakes. In fact, in SCL, his sniper weight was absolutely absurd, and even higher than that was his shot rate. He shot, I believe, somewhere around 3/4 of the season. I looked at it, and his shot rate was over 95%. So he was winning like 85% of his sniper games. When he was losing to civilian shots. So maybe
probably frames, honestly, right?
Yeah, something like that. Sometimes you do see those just random missed shots on AIs that are being overactive. But we'll see how Lazybear's sniper stacks up post SCL here in this PAX Invitational. I think we're going to get into this first game with Miniorek starting off on the spy side, playing as Queen. Not quite Irish, even though it does look like that at first blush when you load into the replay. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Alrighty, and I will say I don't have this replay, so you're gonna have to kind of go with this one. The first one I have is the Lazy.
No.
I'm letting you solo cast this.
No! What happened to the replay? That's unfortunate. Well, just for Tiefling, I'm going to do even more description than I might normally do. We do start off at the back left aquarium window here. We don't go for any time ads. Our ST is not here, but we are going to step in to this center conversation with our seduction target. It's a nice green test for 51%, and we are sort of in the reverse drive-by spot. So if the ambassador comes by, we could try to see that if the ambassador paths close enough to us. But on aquarium, even this reverse drive-by spot is not super easy to get reverse drive-bys in because the ambassador just has a lot of opportunity to walk on the outside where it's never going to hit anyways. And Miniorek doesn't decide to stick around for it. We're going to go into blue bookcase instead. Not sure what we're doing here. Maybe we're trying to go for some kind of microfilm play, or we're just trying to stay out of sight. Ooh, we're going to walk behind the shark here with the book. We're going to go for a bug on the way into this conversation. No, we actually don't do a bug quite yet. We may have been credited, though. We were behind the shark with the ambassador. I'd be surprised if we weren't. Maybe not sure on which shark that was. I thought that was going to be the Pofke cheese, right? Where you... we go for the standing bug as it's the middle shark, though. This is the bottom right conversation. Did Lazybear see it? Looks like he did. Safety comes off him. Miniorek dies unceremoniously for that bug. A bit unfortunate. I thought we were going for the Pofke cheese where you walk from one bookcase to the other behind the low shark and slam it in there and run away before this the sniper can ever really see you at that green bookshelf. And we could have also even gotten a bug on the way through as well. So I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't go for that. It did seem to be the play, but Miniorek not able to make it happen. The standing bug did not work. Lazybear was on top of it, and it's a 1-0 Lazybear. And now T-Flame, I'm sure you have this replay, right? The
Oh yeah,
Lazybear
I'm
on Bling
rare
Twin.
and ready to go. Oh yeah.
All right, fantastic. Let's get it started. I think in 3, 2, 1, playing it. I think, of course, we're gonna get it started.
Oh, we're going right away. And it looks like here we're going to kind of chase our seduction target, which normally, depending on the sniper you're playing against, isn't the most sus thing. We have right here Oprah and Salmon actually picking up highlights, but I wonder if that's going to be a flirt pair or maybe for just being statues. And it looks like it's going to be just for statues there.
Yeah, statue highlights are pretty common as a highlighting strategy. However, what's interesting is we do see the other twin at the other statues here, and we're not getting any highlight on him for it. So maybe a bit inconsistent, maybe not for the statue at all. Although Rocker does pick one up, so perhaps just miss twin at that statue, which, since twin isn't the spy, is technically a good thing for the sniper.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to see what kind of happens pace here wise. This is definitely one of those venues where you can kind of take things slow at the start, let the sniper, get a suspicion of other people, and then maybe rush something at the end if you need to. But I feel like this is a venue where it's pretty easy for a civ shot to come off, especially once contact is done.
Yeah, civ shots on Aquarium would not surprise me, largely because of that big ol' honkin' shark right in front of the sniper's laser. Can cover up things like bugs or, potential purloin sends sometimes. Some people like to grab a drink from the bar, and while there's a middle shark, purloin from the center conversation and act like they were never in that conversation in the first place. Those kind of things can be absolutely massive, and we do see Rocker pathing by the ambassador behind Shark here. I wonder if Miniorek's going to have to credit that. That said, the ambassador did move away, so maybe not.
Yeah, and that's kind of the hard thing on sniper side here is to you have to assume some things happen, but you have to take it with a grain of salt as well.
Yeah, and Lazybear is going to go for this contact here. It looked like we might have been trying to go for a BB bug, but we did hit the white test, and we were close enough to the ambassador that we forced him out with invading the personal space there. So a little bit unfortunate for Lazybear. Didn't hit the green test. That maybe would have allowed a very nice play. That said, it would have been on screen. It was just the distraction of the BB that would have made that bug strong. So Miniorek definitely could have caught it, but in this case, we are done with the Seduce now as we pick up that last 15% at bar, and we're going perhaps for a delegate. This is what I mentioned, middle shark right now. We're sipping, though. We don't look to be going for any kind of a delegate cheese on the center conversation.
Yeah, and back to the double agent or contacting there, there was kind of no harm, no foul there. It was actually a really solid BB in general. So, I mean, I think the bug would have been a cherry on top there, but mission progress-wise, not... I was about to say, this is where things start getting really scary for the sniper here into this last minute, especially against someone like Lazybear.
Yeah, Lazybear is well known for the fact that he likes to go for frames. And if he sees you focusing on a specific character, it's, very likely that he might try to go for this frame swap. But look at this, Oprah. She's already a highlight for the statues earlier, and now she's going into the back left statues near the end of the game. Will this prompt a shot? It very much could. We don't know where Oprah's been behind Shark necessarily. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's like, honestly, I'm not too surprised, but this is a fair play from Lazy here to kind of just, get the contact, a really solid contact out of the way and kind of let the party play itself and maybe let some of those nerves from the snipers here pull off a shot.
Yeah, that was really a bit unfortunate, maybe. If you don't think you have complete control of the party and you see someone going into those back statues and they already have the single inspects, and it's this kind of spy-like timing, that civ shot can definitely come off very, very easily. You have to be confident in your control over the party, and it looks like Miniorek just wasn't. And in this case, it burns him. But now, stepping into the shoes of the civilian he just shot, Miniorek going to try to bring back Aquarium to a draw by taking these next two games. We'll see if he can pull it off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and that's pretty interesting. I wonder if the Oprah pick here would have, if that was like all a part of the plan here. And is this an accidental low light?
It does look like it. I know, at least for me, often when I take accidental lowlights in the beginning of the game, I'll note them and I won't actually correct them for a little while, just because I'm looking for other things. And yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
The correction from Lazybear comes out. As I mentioned, you don't really care to be trying to flick your laser around to get some specific person relit to the correct lighting status in the beginning of the game when you've got so many other things to watch. So it doesn't surprise me that Lazybear lets it be for a little bit, especially since we weren't doing anything that would have required a light to be seen. So yeah, it's just the correction from Lazybear, and the spy game continues as normal.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this is almost a little bit scarier for many because I feel like we probably felt that laser back to flick to us, and we don't know we're a low light at the time, and so we feel that laser come over us, and we think, okay, did we just do something wrong maybe? So we'll have to see if many can ignore that or maybe not even notice it and just play a normal spy game here.
Yeah, with that kind of laser flick, it's really hard to evaluate because there's nothing that you've done that would earn a low light. There's nothing that you've done that would earn a highlight to your knowledge. It's just very, very confusing when you see that on your end because, that might happen to other spies, right? But to other characters rather, but they're, none of them are the spy. You don't really notice it when it happens to them. But when it happens to you, it's a little bit scary and a little bit unnerving. We'll see how many reacts, especially if he noticed.
Yeah, and going on with the scary theme here, it's the mission progress is kind of scary. We've got nothing done with 2 minutes left on the clock, and
We did just send off the guest list purloin though.
yeah, we'll see. Oh, it does take.
Yeah, Lazybear zooms in to make sure that list is gone from Toby's pocket. I think we're about to see some lowlights trying to narrow down the party, figure out who had been to bar recently. Lazybear
Wow.
crawling back into his memory. How many lowlights can he get, and and will they be correct? There's another one. Five so far. 5 lowlights for a purloin is not really where you want to be very often as a sniper.
Not at all. And you can definitely see that Lazy's trying to, remember who was where and who could have done this, but we are definitely not on top of this purloin. Sure, we know the taker, but who could have sent them? And this is looking good for Mini if we can get any sort of mission progress somewhere else.
Well, it's not even necessarily that we need to get mission progress. With a purloin on the board, you take a contact and the pressure to shoot someone goes way, way up. I would not be surprised to see a fake here from Miniorek, and it would be a very, very nice one. The only downside is the SDA is out, but they're not in our conversation critically. Here comes white contact, and Rocker does indeed get shot. The one we delegated to, the frame target, Lazybear, not quite sure about where that delegate could have come from, and takes down Rocker, who looks to have been talking during contact.
And honestly, looking at kind of mistakes possibly here, maybe a quick shot from Lazy, because I think the double agent splits before the contact comes off. I could be wrong.
Oh wow, yeah, that is true. So there was no mission progress for anyone in that party on that contact, which means that there is no reason to be taking that shot. It is, however, a little bit of a hard thing to evaluate when you're already looking at Rocker and you see her start talking. You're like, banana bread's about to come. Banana bread's about to come.
You know it's gonna come off.
and so realizing that the double agent has just left and there's no mission progress there, it can be difficult in the heat of the moment. But Lazybear doesn't see it, and Miniorek does manage to take a spy win back on Aquarium. Now Lazybear on Seek, playing a pretty tall character, which sort of tells me that it might not be any kind of a shark cheese game for him. You generally want to play with a bit shorter characters, just because that's how you're going to get shot in the head or in the foot that stick out from under the shark if you're playing shark cheese. So maybe not quite going for that this game, but we'll see if Lazybear can bring it up to a 3-1 advantage on his opponent's pick in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and kind of the message I get from the first spy game from Lazy is that it's kind of just more testing the waters. Is Mini going to shoot for something maybe in a panic? And so we could honestly have a pretty similar game plan here with a little bit more mission progress and maybe just see if somebody gets shot again.
Yeah. No, I'm really enjoying all these subtle puns you're throwing in there, T-Flame. Testing the waters. Oh, God. All right.
I'll be honest, I definitely didn't try to do that. I'm not that smart.
Yeah, T-Flame?
Breaking the third wall.
No. Dude, just accept it. That was on purpose. That's how. All right. Lazybear playing a nice slow game. Actually, no float at all, even no mission progress. Looking very similar to how Miniorek was progressing last game. We did have no progress whatsoever, and we picked up a delegate option. Actually, we don't even pick up the delegate option. We're going to take a reject on this.
And this is these are the statues to go to. All right, so if you're looking to do a shark swap, you definitely want to start inspects. I think on the back statues, because then you have the left or the right side to, we have some options there, right? So maybe that might be our game plan here, is setting up for one of those late inspect swaps behind shark.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, but the problem is we are now one of 2 highlights in this game, and the other one is the ambassador. So it's just going to be really difficult to get away with things because we just stand out. So actually, no, the other one is the ambassador. The ambassador is Taft. The other one is Cowboy. I just see Cowboy as ambassador automatically. There are 2 highlights in this game, and one of them is us. So we get a couple of low lights here. Actually, just 1 low light. That's a very nice contact.
Absolutely. And it was a white, but it's one of those things where you don't think too much of it. Some people have like a really high like white rate, and so when you see a contact you can add, but that's not Lazy. Lazy's can hit a green anywhere and in clutch moments, so you don't think too much of a white contact playing against someone like Lazy.
Yeah, I think Lazybear had the 2nd highest green AT rate in SCL6. Rio, the only one that was higher. So we do have a very, very classic mission progress here. This is, the whole inspect, seduce, contact game. And admittedly, this is the sort of thing that you'd set up for if you're going for the shark cheese, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is we did not hit that 2nd green flirt, which means that we're not going to be done with flirt necessarily in time for this shark timing. Look at, I think... Actually, no. There is going to be a shark timing in a moment. The shark is going to go across on the left here, across back right on the bottom, and then for the middle shark, it's going to be coming from the right, covering up those right side statues. So with the mission progress on the board right now, this is I actually really think this is about to be a shark swap and hide. Like, look at this. Yeah, Lazybear is going for the statues. No, he's going for the back statues, actually.
Yeah. Wow. And this is very different because you would, and maybe he's doing this because you'd have more suspicion for going to those middles, right? And so by doing this, maybe it's a small little mind game that, hey, I'm not behind the shark, I'm not doing anything, and we hit a green swap here.
Yeah, I'm honestly really shocked that we didn't go for that timing. We did seem to have the perfect setup for that. We had all of the mission progress, the requisite mission progress done at the right time. Pearl's going to come back here to swap our statue. Can we see the fade? We do see the fade. We need to take the shot. Miniorek needs to make a decision right now. It doesn't seem like he's doing it. He's considering, but the mission win countdown's already done. Lazybear starts moving through the conversation and just doesn't take the bullet. It felt like Miniorek had a very, very clear view of that fade. If Pearls even angled it towards us a little bit, so we just saw the swap fade, double zoomed in on it, and I'm really shocked that Lazybear didn't die for this.
Yeah, like 100%. Like looking even from the sniper's reaction, we know who was there. We know it was Seek. We have the laser on it. We just don't. I'm kind of confused why we don't shoot here, but I think this is one of those things we're talking about. Mini's chance is kind of to make up or abuse some of the mistakes that Lazy makes, and I think this is going to be one game that Mini definitely wish they had back.
Yeah, and I think part of what plays into that is Lazybear's propensity to frame, right? If you're not sure about that fade, although even though you did get a good look at it, sometimes you just don't see it, even though you saw it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not sure about that fade. You could think, oh no, what if this is a frame? Or perhaps even that we just missed the fact that it was swapped entirely, right? Which does seem unusual, but it can happen. Mental blips are definitely a thing in SpyParty. Like sometimes the sniper seems to be looking at something straight on and still doesn't register it. So there's a couple options there, but it seemed like we were really, really not sure about the fade perhaps and worried about the frame, and Lazybear gets away with 10 seconds gone.
Yep, absolutely. And so that goes from a sieve shot into kind of holding a shot here. So maybe trying to switch things up, maybe thinking Lazy would do something similar and just try to get someone shot again. But that is a mission win for Lazy. On going 3-1 on Mini's pick here.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Miniorek, and that is sort of the risk you take when you pick Aquarium into Lazybear. Lazybear is, of course, very, very skilled on the venue. So, can we even say it's Miniorek's pick? But of course we can, because he did indeed pick it. So now we're on to Ballroom, which honestly, if you told me before I casted this set that the doubles were going to be Aquarium and Ballroom, I would have said Lazybear doubles Aquarium, Miniorek doubles Ballroom. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But for some reason they switched things up on us.
Yeah. Miniorek now on the spy side, down 3-1. It's definitely not unrecoverable. This is something that you can bring back to a win. It's just going to take some work. And, especially against someone as strong as Lazybear, we're going to see if they can do it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and on Ballroom, kind of the fun part of Ballroom is that you can definitely get spy wins done, right? You can get things by, you can get bugs by, and I think it's a pretty evenly balanced level.
Yeah,
Venue, excuse me.
I do indeed love Ballroom for all of the opportunities that it affords spies. Now, the counterpoint to that is why it's such a good venue is that not only are good spies rewarded for finding their opportunities, good snipers are well rewarded for controlling those opportunities. So it's very much a battle between who can really find that open area and control it before the other player can. And so I think that's really the essence of Ballroom in a lot of senses. We'll see who comes out on top here. Miniorek starting off with a not close enough, unfortunately, for a 2 green, but we do have a green test flirt. It's 446%. And yeah, second green, 92.
Wow.
You hate to see it. I mean, you like to see it because now you're in range for one more flirt regardless.
Yeah, anywhere, right?
You would prefer greens to whites always. This is better than any white flirt could possibly have gotten you. But if you're 2 greening flirts, you want to be done with it after that.
I would take these 2 green flirts and I'd turn it right into a green purloin. That's what I would do. Just right. You know how when you're at middle statues and you hit 3 greens, do you go for the swap?
Yeah, depends on the scenario, T-Flame.
No, I think if you hit 3 greens, you always go for the swap.
Look, I never hit green swaps. It just doesn't happen. I've got a mental block specifically for swaps. But playing a pretty slow game in here from Miniorek maybe has some hope about the fact that we saw that miss shot on Aquarium from Lazybear, but that miss shot was created by the fact that Miniorek was putting on a lot of pressure in terms of visible mission progress. Lazybear wasn't on top of who could have done it and did take that shot. So I think that just waiting around and looking for people to just randomly get shot is not really the play here. You have to maybe go for a swap frame or a purloin frame on someone who has, like Disney, going here right now to center inspects. I would love to see an attempted contact frame into stand next to them, request waiter, grab a purloin, and make them reject or take the list. Like that is 4 missions, right, in the sniper's eyes if they're not tracking for it very closely. So that is a very, very potent common frame opportunity on Ballroom. So we'll see if Miniorek can take that, because we do have 2 opportunities here. 2 AIs do indeed have statues done, although they're not really positioning themselves afterwards for that contact play, unfortunately for us.
Yeah, and looking at this pacing, the only thing I can think of is that, okay, obviously that green is going to be nice, but the ambassador takes it. I was going to say, we're definitely waiting for someone to get in for a contact, but the purloin does come off, and I think that's going to knock out Disney if Lazy's on top of it. But the lasers kind of...
It looks like Lazybear wasn't really on top of this. The fact that the ambassador took it and then Toby hid the tray a little bit behind this conversation, I think that made the catch a little bit late, made Lazybear unsure about where the purloin came from, or hasn't even caught it yet. Perhaps, yeah, look at this. Zooms in on it just now. Then we see a sieve shot after a purloin for Lazybear. And this is exactly how Rio abused Lazybear's sniper a little bit in SCL, had a lot of green purloins, and just forced Lazybear to catch it. I think this is one of his very few weaknesses, is if you can find a good green purloin or a good delegate, that is going to be something that's a little bit more difficult for him to track. And, we see it here. Second time that's been a sieve shot after some pressure from Miniorek, even though there had been a contact, right? That was the fake. That was the fake. Yep. So Oprah was indeed in for a reel, technically speaking, and the purloin was just missed for long enough that that innocent take from Oprah, where the list was already gone, was seen as a white purloin, and the shot comes off. Lazybear a little bit not on top of the purloin. The BB cover to distract from the fact that it was gone was also very nice from Miniorek. It was a
Yep.
well thought out play, and I'm glad he gets rewarded for it. Now Lazybear trying to keep the lead on the second game of Ballroom here. Gonna need a spy win to do it. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and that's just a huge thing of a spy win, is that now you have an opportunity as sniper just to tie things back up here. And so Mini's definitely gonna be looking for that, and Lazy's also gonna be looking to put a little bit more steam back into their game on the spy side here.
Yeah, I think that Lazybear's spy is probably the thing that scares me the most about him, just in general. His spy is honestly, I think it's the spy I am scared of and respect most in the entire community that is active right now. So this is definitely his kind of home court, but there's always that innate sort of sniper advantage, although it's not really apparent on Ballroom as much because it is that 50-50 venue. So I would not be surprised to see Lazybear pull out a spy victor here to keep the lead, but it will require some work regardless. We are going to step in, and we got that 34% flirt.
Yeah, and so I wonder if we're gonna wait here for our flirt. I feel like that'd maybe be a bad decision. Maybe we're waiting for Ambassador to pick up some prints. So we'll have to see, kind of what goes on.
We requested a drink from Toby here. Did the ambassador take a drink recently? It doesn't look like it.
No, it
So
was in that conversation, but no drink print available.
I'm not sure what that was for. Maybe he just wants to pick up an innocent drink take, look a little bit less suspicious. Ambassador now rejects a drink, although we did have a drink already anyways. We get our second flirt off, and now we could go for this contact here. Oh, wow, we actually get rewarded. Look at this. We have gotten a low light for our idling activities. We've moved next to general, actually. And this is not anywhere where we'd be flirting. We've taken an innocent drink, and Miniorek knows it. That's really huge. I think this might be a bit of research play, because not every sniper is going to reward idling. Like, there are definitely a lot of players who do not go for these soft lowlights like this, and here we go. 100% on the flirt. We didn't even need the green test, but there it is. But, even as a low light, though, there is that question. You have a minute 10 left on the clock. You only have Seduced on. You need to step on the gas a little bit.
Wow.
And stepping on the gas isn't that hard if you think you're a low light, if you think you've been rewarded for this, but you can't quite be sure. We're going to see if Lazybear can step on the gas and find a mission win here.
Yeah, and I was surprised that maybe we didn't go for a purloin or anything there, because we need to get something done, and I just don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah. I am not sure either. Lazybear going into get a timeout, actually. A bit of an awkward timing on the timeout, because this is the sort of moment in the game where snipers are more likely to be watching for timeouts, but it doesn't look like Miniorek noticed it. Was looking at the back statues at Twin, perhaps watching for a swap. Here comes a contact there. That is now done. However, that center inspect, that Twin that we were just staring at a lot, has gotten this white contact even in with the SDA. We do take this purloin. It is going to be a green test, so we have a lot of sudden progress.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's thankfully the double agent doesn't go and grab the drink there.
This could be a bug to finish off the game. I would not be surprised to see it. There it is. We go for the wrong arm. It works. Of course, we are a low light, so it's much harder to see anyways, and the angle's not there. We actually get brought back up as the ambassador comes nearby, but the bug is already complete. It's not going to happen. The purloin is still pending. I just don't see any way in which Miniorek's going to come back in this. Purloin's gone. Mission win countdown is gone. We don't seem to be that big of a suspect. In fact, I think Miniorek's just watching for the swap on Twin, not even looking at the tray, and yeah, there it is. A very clean win by Lazybear.
And I think something that was huge was obviously the green purloin, but also the person that eventually, after like 4 or 5 rejects, ended up being a low light that took it. So you're not even really looking at that point. You're looking at different mission sites, and so that win, although it came at a kind of a weird timing, right? Really slow pacing at the start, it really worked out for Lazy there.
Yeah, Miniorek rewarding Lazybear's slow and methodical start here, and that just enables the rest of this game. And mind you, the rest of this game isn't even that bad when you're a neutral light. That's the thing about this play, is if you're not a low light, it's still okay. We had a green purloin, and we had a pretty reasonable bug here. The sniper could have had a better angle for it and seen it a little bit more, but we're still a low light. It's just very, very good. If we're a low light, the game is won. If we're a neutral light, we still have decent odds. It's no crash bug where you're just dead if you're a neutral light. So very nicely done from Lazybear. Keeps the lead going. Now Miniorek on Seek on the spy side, trying desperately to claw their way back into this set. It is a first to 7 here. So and the problem is if Lazybear keeps this lead, first to 7. So if Lazybear keeps this lead, we'll be coming out of the double the venues at potentially 5-3. And that's just if Miniorek goes even here. And that's not really what place you want to be, because at that point, they only need 1 more point. You need to win 4 games in a row to avoid overtime even. So we'll see how this progresses. Miniorek on the spy side, can he pick up this first step and bring it back in 3, 2, 1, playing it?
Yeah, and if I'm Mini here, I'm thinking, this spy win is crucial, because if I can get this, at least I can hold sniper from here on out. Lazybear's in the position right now where Lazy just has to snipe to win. Doesn't even need another spy win, right? Doesn't need to do this, can maybe even get somebody's civ shot. Literally just has to snipe to win for the rest of this. And so Mini looking for an opportunity here to say, hey, if I win this, it's just 1 game at a time.
Yeah, and actually, Lazybear hasn't lost a spy game yet this set. You'll notice. I don't believe, right? No. Or does Miniorek have... Yeah, Miniorek has 2 points currently. So it was the 2 civ shots. Lazybear has not lost a spy game this set, and honestly, that just goes to show how strong this spy is. There are very, very few players where I would think, against any sniper, they're not going to even drop a spy game this far into a set, and Lazybear has managed to do it. If he had shored up a little bit on the sniper, this set would be even further apart, but it was a very nicely played game, 2 games from Miniorek to bring it back and induce those civ shots. So not to downplay the achievement there, but this is a bit more of a spy-sided set than what we usually see in high level SpyParty, I think.
Yep. And so right here, we actually have, I think this is our first time going for fingerprints this set. So kind of switching things up, maybe not necessarily as much of a hard tell. Our seduction target actually ended up leaving and bouncing back to us. So we're able to pick up our second flare, and it's going to be 36% left, which means unfortunately it's not going to be able to be a white. We're going to have to green our next one if we want to get that mission out of the way. But thankfully, Taft is running around leaving prints for us.
Yeah, Taft is often picked as the ambassador because he is the fastest character in the game, which means that you're probably going to get a few more fingerprints on average. I actually don't know if we've done the math on that. I'd be very interested to see what the average fingerprint hit rate is for each ambassador, potentially, or each popular ambassador at the very least. That would be very, very, very fun to see. But
yeah.
Taft also picked because he's rather large, and you can hide bugs inside of his beefy body. So.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. For sure.
Yeah, we in speaking of fingerprints though, we did get one off of a drink, which is very, very nice for us. We are going to go into the side statue, pick up the customary highlight. This is something that Lazybear does. It is just how he uses his highlights. And this is a fingerprintable statue even, so we are done with that mission. We could be going for a nice, just very clean, soft-tell game where we just get inspect, contact, seduce, and fingerprint. That is definitely a kind of strong spy game proposition. The only issue is that you need to find some way to make it to the sniper, just not saying, okay, you have 4 missions and now you die, right? And we actually go for this bug on the way through. We're not gonna go for the soft tail variant, and it seemed to be on screen, but Lazybear hasn't shot for it. Could we go into statues perhaps? I think we have to. The double agent's not in conversation right now. We have to go into a statue, or we're waiting. We're committing to this double agent getting to a conversation. I'm not sure if this is the play. I think you need to go to a statue here, but it's a little bit late for that at this point. You have to hope they go into a conversation. We're going to path desperately nearby them. We're going to go for the con, but it's too late. It's a white test, and we're going to run out of time.
No, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, maybe we go to statues here because it can be really strong when you do a silent game and you don't have a contact. But it's also like we're getting close to the
Well, the
time
thing is,
where
it's not a silent game. We did a fake, and the SDA was with
oh,
us. We were already credited with a
ugh.
contact, which means that another contact doesn't actually give us any more mission progress in the eyes of the sniper.
Interesting,
Um,
yeah.
that's likely why Miniorek was trying to go for
Yeah.
that because was aware of the risk of the SDA in their conversation earlier for the fake. But
Wow.
it's just so unfortunate the double agent doesn't rejoin in time, and you needed to hit that green test. If you hit a white test there, that you do time out. You need to hit that clutch green test, and unfortunately, it's not quite there for Miniorek. Whew.
And I'm so surprised that bug was like it was right on screen, and I'm surprised we actually got away with that.
Yeah. I have myself missed some right on screen bugs recently. You can go check yesterday's cast for that one. That was a little bit awkward. But so it's not like the worst thing in the world. Sometimes the sniper is just looking somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
In this case, though, Miniorek really now needs a sniper game. Could not find that spy game that looked so good. If that had been a real
Yeah.
contact earlier, as it was in the sniper's eyes, the game was over. We'd already won, but it just wasn't real. And that's quite unfortunate for Miniorek, but Lazybear maybe getting a little bit bailed out there. Excuse me. But now Lazybear on the spy side trying to extend the lead in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Can Lazybear take a set in which he does not drop a single spy game?
Yeah, we're playing as Wheels here, and Wheels has a couple advantages to Wheels. One of them being, a decent microfilm action. But besides that, I don't know. I don't know what Wheels really's got going for him.
Well, being short is very strong, and we actually do a little bit of a cheese in the time of chaos for 51%. Very, very nice for us there. Something that this positioning kind of indicates to me is that we're playing Wheels. We're playing a very short character. If this conversation that we're in kind of fills up with taller, more broader characters that are going to block view of the back statues here, we could go for a cheese swap on this back left statue, pick it up, take the swap, go back into our spot in conversation without ever being seen there. Unfortunately, the person that would be blocking the view of that is not very tall, is not very broad. It's a smallman.
Yeah, which is interesting. I kind of like, I don't know why, but I seem to always pick small men as my seduction target. And it's mostly because, small men should always be in your party. It's just extra stress for the sniper. And so just having them be a part of the party, it's always a good way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And the red.
And we do get this contact here. The DA actually splits on us right after, which could be very, very big because highlighting for real, in fact, is exactly what just happened. We see Duke and Pearls are being a highlight for having the only 2 reels in the party, but in reality, it was our conversation that had the real contact, and the DA just split to a different conversation. That is just so huge.
Yeah, and it's from the sniper side. I kind of want to say I kind of like that Minis being a slightly dynamic with their sniper play, right? Handing out some low lights for lack of behavior or lack of mission progress last game, and then on this one, assuming real and doing some highlights. And so I kind of like it, but honestly, both times this kind of bit us in the butt.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just so unfortunate because usually doing those highlights for real when there's very few characters in for real can be so strong. Mm-hmm. They are so good as suspicion highlights. It's really quite absurd how consistent it is when you highlight for a real contact like that one of them is the spy. Spies don't like to do fakes too often. So it's just really, really easy to fall into the trap of overwatching now these characters. And Lazybear, because of the suspicion now on Pearls and on Duke, you just have so much more opportunity to get things by the sniper, and you still have that progress. You didn't even have you didn't even have to do the fake.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't pick up the highlight, which is more than amazing for Lazy here.
Oh wow. Oh. I'm not sure what that was for, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna scroll this back real quick.
I mean, it looks like Twin was just at center statues. I think perhaps it was just a phantom swap. And look at Lazybear. Lazybear is even going back to these statues afterwards because he saw Miniorek checking for that swap to do a swap frame.
Yeah, I think we must have thought that was something else. Maybe we mismemorized the back there.
Or there was some kind of bug credit. But even then, this is not a BB highlight, right? So I feel like it has to be a phantom for something that you think is like 100%. This has to be the spy, and it just wasn't. So that's really just not the way you want to go out in this ballroom set against Lazybear. It's really, really unfortunate. And you've already had a game so full of so many AI unfortunate things, but those mental blips just seeming to happen over and over again for Miniorek in this set, and it can happen to anybody, and it can happen at any time, but you really don't want to have them happening twice in a set, costing you 2 at this point sniper wins.
Yeah, because if you look at each venue so far, it's been 3-1 for Lazy on each. But looking at each of those sets, I think there's one game in there that Mini could have won, whether it was shooting for the swap in Aquarium or even that last one getting a mission win here on Ballroom. So it could easily be a 4-4 set right here. But Mini is not out of it yet. We still have some more venues to play, and let's see what can happen.
Yeah, we do have Lazybear on match point, which means he's just sniping down for on terrace for the win and for a perfect spy set. Not something you get to say very often when you're casting SpyParty, despite the name. But we'll see if Miniorek can pull this back in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And at this point for Miniorek, you know that you're playing to get to overtime. At a 6-6 draw, the overtime is that the doubled venues get played again. And you try to find a winner when they get played again, right? So that's what we're playing for Miniorek here. It is a single elimination tournament, so it is also the tournament life that we're playing for here. And frankly, I don't think anyone would be surprised by a Lazybear win or even a Lazybear domination. He's just that good. But you always want to root for the underdog a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in this kind of stuff, Lazy's won enough competitions, right? Lazy's won enough tournaments. You got to save some for the other guys, and so it's always fun to kind of root against. We love Lazy, but it's fun to root against them too.
Yeah, and obviously it's well earned. We've had some pretty lucky moments from Lazybear this set, but as always, it's sort of like you have to be in a place where you can take advantage of that luck, and you have to set yourself up for success for luck to even come into it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of those things where you put yourself in a good spot, and there's a good chance that something good will come from it. And so it's kind of that mentality, and you know what, Lazy's been doing that on the spy side all day.
Yeah, it has been really quite impressive. Miniorek now going in for inspects and a single fingerprint off of that. We'll see if Lazybear is on top of it. It'd be very interesting to see. Because on 3 of 5, it's always my little rant about how 3 of 5 is balanced, or 3 of 6 in this case, 3 of X nowadays. But the way it's balanced is that the sniper has a lot less to control, so they should be able to kind of camp and know what everyone's done right throughout the game, and it shouldn't be that big of an issue to do that. Ooh, here comes a contact, and it's interesting because Twin here could maybe have gotten a bug if Lazybear wasn't sure about it. We do get the fake for Miniorek highlights switched into real highlights. And looks like we're having technical difficulties. Is that affecting the cast? Do we need to pause at all?
I'm watching and it looks okay. Is it just the camera angle's locked?
All right. In the case that we're fine, we do see another contact come off, a second one. I feel like this is a few too many lowlights for contacting on terrace. You really, you don't want 4 lowlights because the rest of the party is 5 characters. That's like just under half the party. If you could split a guess in half, to get low lit. So it's a little bit hard to continue from here. We do have the contact. We do have 90% on the seduce. We need one more. 30 seconds left on the clock, though. Are we going to go for perhaps a fingerprint finish? But I don't know if a statue finish is going to be working here.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, this is just getting into those really suspicious moments of like, okay, the spy's trying to finish something at the end, and kind of no matter what we do here, there is going to be overtime.
Yeah, and I think it's really unusual. Miniorek seems to be committing to a timeout. Can't get these last missions done. There's no way. Here comes a contact, but there's no way to do that. There's going to be just a cough. Oh, don't go out with a whimper, but with a cough, says Miniorek. Did not just I bite my thumb at you, says Kane.
Yeah, and I
as he turns
honestly,
towards the sniper.
I feel like this is, maybe just a kind of expressing maybe some of the frustrations from this set. Because again, I think Mini definitely had a couple more chances, and that's my biggest thing with competitive. Like I don't mind losing to someone, but I really don't like it when I lose to myself, or you have a really bad party, whatever it may be. And so maybe Mini, letting out some of that frustration right there. But either way, I think we saw a lot of promise from this set, a lot of well timed things and well thought out things. Just some of the things didn't get finalized.
Yeah, I think some of those mental blips on Sniper were really big for Miniorek here. A tad unfortunate on that end, but congratulations to Lazybear. Gonna move on. A little bit expected, but again, I keep saying it. We've already had so many upsets. They
Yeah,
could keep
and
happening.
it's so fun it's so fun having those be a part of the thing, right? And each game, each match is a new one, and so there's always new chances for something else and for someone to make things